So, by the time this releases, I am aware that I'm over a week late. I am always like that. I arrive fashionably on time, which is whenever I like to show up for content. What? Anyway, there are some things that I wanted to say about the new trailer, but I think it would be best if we watched it together and then I could just give you my thoughts on the whole thing. I think it would make sense if I just played the whole trailer first, considering that it's only a minute in length. And if I kept on stopping every 10 seconds, that would probably be kind of weird. So let's just, let it play.
Blue bloods in castles, peasants in the gutter. Same old story with a pretty flag on top.
You have one night to sort your business and get the fuck out of Seattle.
Benny, such a way with words. Tolly's an acquired taste.
I'm your go-to gal for fun times at the OK Camarilla.
Sophia's always been scatterbrained.
You're the nomad.
This town's had a queen for a long time.
How uninvited. There had better be a reason.
If I were a betting man, I'd say the heads are just starting to roll. And I am a betting man.
Okay, so let's begin from, I like the main narrator's voice. There are some guesses that he's the voice actor for male main character, and I honestly think that that is a rumor, because I also heard that that was denied by the staff, because for one thing, his accent is wrong. The female main character is accented. This one isn't. Honestly, I think that this person should have voiced the male main character because he has just a really, really smooth voice. A lot of characterizing, I don't buy it. It just kind of looks average, it looks okay. But it might be also kind of the trailer doing its thing. Imagine trying to make a trailer for Bloodlines 1 where you're just inputting dialogue from scenes into it. But I still think that it might come off better, because think about how much emotion Nines Rodriguez has in his voice, just even at the very start when he yells, "This is bullshit!" Or the kind of inflections that the, Ventru leader LaCroix tends to speak, always appearing fairly full of himself. Majority of the characterizing here just really falls flat, except for one characterizing that kind of made me raise an eyebrow, and we are gonna get to that in a second. I find it kind of unfortunate that it is very hard for me to find characters from Swansong uploaded online. Therefore, I can't take a picture of it exactly to compare. But I think Benny was introduced as the sheriff. I remember a character in Vampire the Masquerade Swansong that I too believe was the sheriff, and we only meet him in a couple of scenes, mostly in the same room when you're having a meeting with the local prince. And he looks like he has either seen some shit or just snorted a truckload of coke. At the very least, he kind of looked interesting. While all I can say about Benny is that he looks like a character. All I can say about a lot of these people is that they look like a character. I would give them 5 out of 10, but it's almost like the whole that, you know how I made a video talking about an atmosphere? The atmosphere is not here. This is when I'm saying that a video game feels bland, this is what I mean. She looks like a character. I can't really determine what kind of character. There's not a lot of character to her character is what I'm trying to get at, and that's how it goes for majority of people in the trailer, except for one. And let's just get to him before we get to the other major issue that I have with the trailer. Tolly's voice acting. They're going for camp, and with that camp, I am assuming that they're going for gay. It's giving me... You know how in 1990s and early 2000s you had like a lot of chick flicks, and the main character would have a gay sidekick. Their only purpose for being in movie is to be like, you go girl, to like the main character. They wouldn't really be a character themselves. That was their whole role. And it is this specific level of like campy inflection that's delivered to. And that is in a way a caricature for all the people that I've known, but it might have something to do with the fact that I'm European. For all the gay people that I've known, they don't tend to carry this inflection or softness or almost, once again, like a theatrical caricature of a small part from like a 90s or to 2000s movie to them. They tend to be like a person. I know this is an amazing revelation, but yeah, gay people are people too. And they look like people, and they act like people. I don't want to criticize too much because this might actually be someone's personality. It's just that I don't live in a region where people would express this kind of personality. But for me, it's giving a very shallow feel. Like, we wanted probably some inclusion in order to have some inclusion, but we didn't actually know how to do inclusion. So we watched an early 2000s chick flick and said, yeah, that's what I want, because it will immediately give everybody a flag that we're being inclusive.
An acquired taste.
I'm your go-to gal for fun times at the OK Camarilla.
It doesn't seem like the voice or the inflection is going with a character, and I'm not really believing that a character is, well, a living, breathing character, and you didn't just put a caricature of a person into your game in order to be able to pat yourself on the back. We could expand deeper into this topic and talk about what sexuality, infliction, or personality would even mean to a living monster that lives to drink blood, especially when after a while love is not really love. Love is a bond created through blood drinking, and it doesn't matter who you bond with. Hence why in the Diaries of Beckett, Beckett becomes the bride of Dracula. At the very least, that is implied, because Dracula kind of collects love interests, and the implication is that they bonded through blood drinking. After a while, that distinction of human sexuality seems to fall away, but that's a bigger topic, and I am gonna just assume that this is probably a young character. Like, they could be maybe 40, 50 in real life years, and perhaps they did not know how to express themselves. So expressing through movie-induced campiness is the best that they can do, and this could even be a character idea to explore, but it doesn't seem fitting. And if your whole point was to do inclusion, I think you can be a lot better on this front. Now, the absolute most jarring bit of this trailer, mind you, most of it is talking, it has very, very little gameplay. The gameplay part is the part that looks the worst.
Benny, Benny, Benny.
What's this? I have a feeling that Chinese Room doesn't know how to do guns, shooting, or gun animations. So instead of having a fully fledged ranged combat system, they have opted for something that is easier, which is animation with your hand of gun telekinesis. It's not very lore accurate, but you can probably make something up with a Tremere, but where you pull the gun from another character through telekinesis and an animation plays where a gun just kind of shoots in whichever direction you're looking in. And that's how you handle gun combat. Now, mind you, from a mechanical point of view, not only does this look like you really can't do gun animations, it also is not... I don't imagine this to be the smoothest or most fun way of playing. One thing about a weapon that you can actually hold in your hand as a character, especially in the first person, is A, you can aim a lot better. 2, you can load one bullet rather than a whole clip at once, which is a whole point of gun combat, that the fact that you can like go bang, bang, bang. You can target multiple enemies and you don't need to unload your whole clip and presumably just like throw the weapon to the side. Yeah, it feels like a really weird cop-out. Doesn't really increase my trust levels in Chinese Room's ability to make a video game that is not a walking simulator. A walking or a talking simulator, because by this point, they can also do conversations, sorta. Or like picking objects up and looking at them. This looks very limited for a combat game. Now, mind you, every single time when we see this game, it is getting somewhat better and more acceptable as a video game. AKA, before that, they said that they can't do gunplay at all. Now we have this very weird cop-out for gunplay. Before they even used to say that they can't do leveling or skill trees at all. Now, from devlogs I've been shown by one person, there are a way to invest your experience into very limited skill trees where you can unlock more abilities, such as the ability to charge, because that was one example. Like, without unlocking the ability to charge, you can't charge, which is okay, kind of weird, but it's like this is Chinese Room's first time making a proper video game, and every single time when there is a backlash, they push the release back and they try to introduce the features that you could expect from video games in late 90s. Practically the first thing that happened when first person released was first person shooters. So that is how long we have had the ability to fire guns. Chinese Room is getting there. Give them a lot of time, probably more than that, half a year than they have been granted. If they get pushed some more, they might even figure out how guns work and just release like an average action game. Which is to say, they were probably not the right choice for this project. and that this project still looks like it's turning up to be hot potatoes that Paradox just wants to flush down the toilet as fast as possible. But I do appreciate that they're trying, because I think that that's what they're really trying. They're trying to work with a genre they have never worked before, and they seem to be surprised by every single aspect of the genre, which is, it's like you're watching a company try to progress and evolve into new levels of game making, and they're arriving at, well, the kind of things that we had for the past 20 years already. Like, it's a new concept to them. Don't worry, they will get there. It's just really hard because this is the first time that they're trying to figure out how gun work. Or, you know, you could have just given this to a company that could perhaps make something more than a walking simulator, and you would probably have had something a bit better. Currently, from the looks of what it's turning out to be, I'm gonna give it swan song out of 10, and probably minus points for being unable to do your own action sequences. It's not looking like this should be a 60-pound game, which is what I'm assuming it's gonna release at. I'll give it 15 at the moment. If you sell it for 15 pounds, that's probably where it should be, and maybe rename it. I don't know how many times should I repeat it, but just like rename it, and a lot of your problems, like people expecting an actual good game, will go away, because a lot of the other things inside Vampire the Masquerade genre are visual novels. You would fit right in. You would fit right in, as long as you don't sell yourself. That's what you're not. What you're not is, you're not an RPG, and you're definitely not a sequel to Bloodlines, which is also what Paradox Deputy CEO has told us already in Rock Paper Shotgun article. So what are your thoughts and feelings about this trailer? Did it get you excited? Because I have seen quite a few people that are like, telekinetic weapons, this is so great. This is such a unique idea. This is so exciting, it's so novel, it's so new. And I'm just looking at it and going, so you couldn't figure out how to make gun work? Is that it? You couldn't figure out how to animate gun and how to point and shoot? Well, that's not a good sign. Anyway, thanks for my Patreons for supporting me to get into this tear. You kind of have to give me $3. That's how you get here. So thank you all for your continued support. Thank you for people that have subscribed or watched my previous videos on Bloodlines 2. I do want to cover an article from, I think it was 2021, about what happened with the whole previous company that was making this game. Because we do have that, one of the developers did post it, and I feel like that was, for the most part, kind of unseen. And I am slightly interested in continuing to cover the bag of hot potatoes, just out of morbid curiosity, or just the fact that every single time when this company receives a pushback for being unable to make a video game, they add like an extra half a year to the release date, and they try more. And they're getting closer to making a video game, so I feel like if we are continuing to poke at them, maybe an average video game will fall out, and hopefully it doesn't hurt them too much as a company. Like, I know it will hurt Paradox, and honestly at this point I feel like they deserve it. Hopefully it doesn't really hurt Chinese Room, which are contracted to make this project. Hopefully they just learn how action video games work, and the next time when they try to implement shooting mechanics, they will figure out how shooters work. I have full trust in they're gonna evolve. They're gonna grow up. This project is just gonna be like a growing experience for them. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope I'm gonna see you in my other videos. I mostly do video gaming and occult shit on here. I normally try to, like, keep a ratio of maybe 2 video games to 1 occult, or 2 occult to 1 video game a week. Sometimes that ratio goes out of whack, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, the channel is what it is. I enjoy being the channel, so thank you for giving me a watch. I hope I'm gonna see you around. And if you want me to cover any other spooky ooky games, do tell me, because I do end up buying some really bizarro stuff that I have a review just kind of lying in my recorded videos that I haven't uploaded yet. Sometimes there's quite a lot of weird stuff happening in the indie world that release, and they're entirely up my alley, and I check them out and I fall in love with them and I play the shit out of them. And then sometimes I tell my channel, but mostly it's games that people never have heard about, but I enjoy hearing about them. So, if you have any, preferences when it comes to these kind of games, do tell me. I am in the market for them after all. So thank you for watching. Hopefully see you the next time. Bye.